Yeah. Yeah, stuffy, huh? hope. I want to quick hurry and send it out and everybody. But I'm gonna send it again though. Okay, people are. Oh, they're all. Okay. Yeah, they're attendees. Shoot. Sorry.
Do you have me as an attendee? Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, Cindy. I didn't know if you were going to be here tonight. I'm glad you're here. Do we have enough on to start? I think we do. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we should be good. Let's go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mark's here. You got 5.
Oh, okay, perfect. So could we please take the roll?
We don't have
We don't
Susan.
have Susan yet? Okay, well, I guess maybe we'll wait for Susan for a minute here.
Susan's here. I'm just trying to promote her. She's here. I mean, she's not here.
Okay.
Susan's there.
I don't know where she is. She was here a second ago. Let me just say that.
We'll find her.
I apologize. I thought I sent out the invites. I guess it didn't happen. I apologize.
Oh, I had them, but it's okay.
You did? Okay. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Sometimes they just disappear too.
I was having
Yeah.
computer problems, so it you may have sent it out and it didn't come up, but I got on anyway.
Okay.
Persistence. Well, while we wait for Susan to come on, our first thing, Alicia Singleton, I did not ever hear back from Albert at the condos about their HOA parameters on window replacements. So possibly if we want to approve this and make it contingent on their HOA, giving any consent or not. I mean, I would hate to start seeing multicolored windows on it, but I left some pretty explicit messages and didn't hear back. So I don't know what the deal is exactly.
I drove by and what I noted was that some of the windows are black or the bronze colored trim, the frame around the window.
Uh-huh.
And some are white. Most of them are white. But I
Yeah.
think they're probably the originals. I think the ones that have been replaced look like they might be the bronze or darker color, which I think looks better with the building, actually.
Okay.
What window trim? I don't have any paperwork with
So
me.
this was
I
last-
have Star Spark, but
Yeah. This was last time, and she wanted a cream colored window. And we told the guy that was here was actually the contractor for the window company. And we had said we needed to check and see, what the HOA was going to require on this.
okay.
Go ahead.
Could we ask that, or could we say that we would agree with these windows, but the trim color must match an existing trim on the building? Whichever way she wants to go, but we're not going into a third color, a fourth color, or a fifth color. It has to match one of the existing trims on the building.
All right. I don't think they were even replacing the trim, were they, Sean?
Well, it's not the trim, it's the frame of the window itself.
It's just the window.
Trim's not probably the right word, but it's the existing trim would stay the same. When they replace the window, the window frame would either be the dark color or white.
And
Right.
can you tell them that Steve guy is, oh, there she is. Oh,
Okay.
I'm unmuted. Sorry. Okay. Susan's trying to get on. I will help her. And also Steve Hemans is the contractor and he's also on
Okay, great.
the call.
Great.
I'm going to help Susan.
Okay, so let's, well, as soon as it gets here, she can call the roll, I guess. So
Do you want me to call the roll so you guys can get started? Well, since she,
well, Susan will need to
And-
take notes, and so she'll just be trying to catch up if we start without her, because it'll be
okay, no problem.
It's okay. We'll wait. So I've got a different format on my computer tonight yet again. Now everybody's across the top.
Yeah, I've got everybody like in 2 rows.
I know. It's weird. keeps changing. And the person that's talking gets big and the other people are all along the top. Yeah.
Okay.
You're big, Betsy.
Whoa.
Now it's you, Sean. I'm not sure how that happens, but I can deal with it. At least I can see everybody else at the same time.
Great.
And I see Steve.
So when we're going to talk about my personal application, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut, right?
You
Yeah,
recuse yourself, Betsy.
I have to, what do I say?
Yeah, you say you're recusing yourself.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, I'll just when I call that one on the agenda, then you can recuse yourself and
Okay.
come back in. So you can only talk on one side of a
Right.
an issue.
Out of both sides of your mouth at the same time.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, that was good. I saw you do that, Joan. So I had an example.
Well, Sean and Mark have to do it quite often because they work on so many projects. So
Yeah, I bet.
yeah. Anything new with anybody else?
No, but I hope, I have a hard stop on this, so I.
Okay, we'll try. We should be able to be pretty quick. I don't think anything is going to be real involved here. Knock on wood.
Well, you never know, Joan.
Yeah, yes, I know. This Betsy person could turn out to be quite a problem.
Right, quite. See about her.
All right, Susan may be having the problem I had last time or 2 times ago when I had to use my phone. I just, my computer wanted me to put in passwords and stuff and then it wasn't taking them. And
Susan's here.
I'm here now.
right here?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just got kicked off the internet. I don't know. I wasn't, so I booted back up. I'm good.
All right, cool. So we're ready to call the meeting to order. If you'd please take the roll.
Okay. Joan Eaton,
Here.
Sean Platt,
Here.
Cindy Neely,
Here.
Betsy Blakesley,
Here.
Mark Reynolds,
Here.
Bob Hamilton,
Here.
Frank Ganzer. No.
And can we get approval of the agenda? I do have one item to add, and it's the 106 letter that we sent to ChargePoint. They've requested if we could change some wording on it. It's really not a big deal, so we'll do that later. Just add that on.
Also, I received a call from the chairman of the Library District Board, and I'd like to make a request on his behalf.
All righty. Anything else? Can I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
I would
I'll
second
second.
that.
All in
I'll
favor?
second.
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
All right, audience business. Is there anyone on for audience business tonight?
We do have somebody.
Okay.
That's Deanne Powell.
All right, so members of the audience have 5 minutes to present any matter of concern to the commission. Okay,
Hi, everybody. I'm still really concerned about Strauss Park being changed around. Last night at the Planning Commission meeting, they said, well, all of the things in this plan can be changed, but I don't believe that because you guys have already passed putting the bathroom in, and I don't think a prefab should go in on the historic lands anyway. At the beginning of all the chapters of book 2, it says, do not forget that your property is located in the Georgetown Silver Plume National Historic Landmark District. The town of Georgetown is recognized nationally for the quality and character of its historic resources. When work is proposed, bear in mind the impact it will have on any neighboring historic resources and the town as a whole. And on page, one moment, please, I need to flip my notes. On page 86, it talks about existing additions, and that's pieces that are like, well, you know what existing addition. Anyway, it says preserve an older addition that has achieved historic significance in its own right. And that's what our little green horse stalls down there in Strauss Park have done. I'm really afraid, and I don't be afraid of much of anything, but I am really afraid that if this gets modernized like the DMH plans show, it's going to change the nature and feeling of the town. It's going to affect our businesses and economic base. People are going to quit coming to Christmas market if it doesn't look old-fashioned and homey. And I got an email from a retired teacher, and I'm going to read you a paragraph out of it. She said, one of the attractions of Georgetown for me has always been the quaint mountain mining town feel. For years, as a fourth grade teacher, starting in 1991, I'd set up a field trip for the next to last day of school, and we'd head up, ride the Georgetown Loop, tour the Lebanon Silver Mine, and have lunch in the park with the gazebo-like band shell. The parents and kids absolutely loved it, and one of the main reasons that they did was the unique feel of Georgetown. No strip malls, no parking lots, etc. It was so old-timey compared to the suburban area where they lived. They got a sense of what the town was like in the mid-19th century. And I can't tell you how many times I've driven past the frozen lake in winter and could see the ice sailing going on. All that would be lost. It's a shame to think that Georgetown might end up looking like a smaller version of Silverthorne. I've contacted a bunch of people because I wanted you all to know for sure that I'm not just the only nutcase sitting out here, that there are a lot of people that want Georgetown to retain its historic character. And it's really, really important that this Strauss Park changes. It's not refreshing, it's changes. It's real important that they not be made. Please keep that in mind when you're voting tonight. Thank you.
Jennifer, is there anybody else for audience business?
No, there's not.
Okay, so this closes the audience business part. The rest is our commission meeting, not open to the public comment. And we will move to old and new business. And first up is Alicia Singleton. And I believe we have Steve on with us.
Yes.
Okay, hi, Steve.
Hi.
So I have to apologize. We asked you to come back because we wanted some clarification from the HOA there at the condos. I don't know if you were able to contact anyone, but I was not
No,
able.
I was not, no.
Okay.
Our order shows that the customer, Alicia, had signed off that no HOA was required. That's
Okay.
what we have. She had
Okay.
signed it, initialed that portion of a contract, right?
All right. And so I think what we were asking is the trim, existing trim, which is on the building currently around those windows,
Uh-huh.
remains the same or the same color, Cindy?
Yeah, they don't change at all.
I think Bob corrected me that trim is not the correct word. Didn't you, Bob?
It's the frame of the window.
Right.
It-
The trim, my understanding is there's no plan to change the trim, the wood trim around the window at all. And it's just the window itself, which the frame is made out of whatever it's be, a plastic or whatever it's made out of.
Vinyl, yeah,
And
and
it
tan
would be
color.
it would be we'd like it to be a color that is the same as the other windows in the building. And I think there's predominantly white and looks like a dark, maybe black or bronze color. Either one would be fine. We don't want to introduce a third color of window
Frame.
frame color.
Frame?
Does that make sense, Steve?
Yes, I understand.
Is that possible, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, we could offer the bronze color that he's indicating. It's a very dark brown, and we also have white.
Okay,
So,
So either of those two would be acceptable, so that would be up to Alicia and you. We just don't want to introduce, if we start introducing, beige and then someone wants a green and, we wind up with a.
Right. Typical for condominium to keep a consistent
Right,
color in replacements. That's absolutely normal amongst all of them, even in our communities, yeah. You make it as close to the normal, so if some that don't replace,
so I would make the motion that we approve this application with the stipulation that the frames be of a same color tone as some existing frames on the building.
I'll second that.
any more discussion? All in favor?
do we need sightings?
Did we do them last time? I don't have the
No, I'm
last.
looking at the notes, we didn't have sightings.
Oh, okay. Well, is that okay then to use the sightings from last time and go with this, or should we?
No, we didn't have sightings last time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Does anybody want to give me a sighting? real
In
quick?
book 3, page 93, section 3.
Book 3.
I guess B, metal, fiberglass, or vinyl clad windows, should have a matte, non-reflective finish. And that's it.
Okay. All in favor then?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Okay, thank you, Steve.
okay, have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Hey, Mark, will you start us on the next one, please?
Sure. We have Don and Betsy at 300 Rose Street. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us about your project, please?
I'm recusing myself as a committee member. And now I'm
Okay,
speaking.
so-
Is that the right thing to do?
Yep, you just did her. Thank you.
Okay.
Tell us what you're doing, please.
All right. So I had page numbers on all these, but there aren't any page numbers on the copy that I picked up. So I will try to go through it. We have a very short distance between the house behind us and the house beside us. We all are wanting to have 3 owners, more privacy. And we would like to put in a cedar lattice topped fence above the existing dry stone wall. And we intend that if you approve, we would put the fence in the next month. But then next spring, we would have the dry stone restacked, the portions that have fallen down. And I actually happen to know, believe it or not, a lot about dry stone stacking. And the only reason that I do is because this project that I'm heading at West Point, where we're rebuilding the fortifications, are all dry stone stacked from the American Revolution. And so I've been working with a couple of the country's leading experts in dry stone stacking. So anyway, I'm very committed to making sure that that dry stone stacking is properly done. It looks pretty good from about 4 feet up on the big wall, but somebody's put cement in various places, and I'd like to get that out of there.
Sure. So in other words, you're going to put a fence on top of the dry stack wall.
Correct.
What's the height of the dry stack wall approximately going to be? Is it going to be like 4 foot, 3 foot?
So you have two different locations. If you're standing in the back of our house
Mhm.
facing east, then the wall that is on Mary Jones' side is the dry stack wall is about 6 feet already. And then the fence, and then her house sits on that top level. And then the fence is another 6 feet. Now on the house, okay,
You're breaking up, Betsy.
really? I wonder why that is. I have been having trouble with my connection, but am I still breaking up?
Sounds okay right now.
Okay, I probably moved too far from the microphone. All right, so the people that live right behind us are Mary, who lives right behind me. The dry stone stacked wall goes up about 6 feet. And then the cedar fence would be placed just above the dry stone stacked wall, maybe about a foot behind that, or, you know, where they can put the posts in. And then to the left is Francesca's yard, which is owned by her parents. And that wall, I think, was originally probably 4 or 5 feet tall, but there's been a lot of erosion of the rocks. So it's currently about 3 feet tall right now.
So these walls that you say are 3 or 4 or 6 feet tall, are they more like a terrace or retaining wall? The property next to you is
yes,
actually on that
they're
level?
definitely a retaining wall. It's all soil after that. So
Okay.
that the house behind us could be built
Right.
above us. I mean, it's quite a bit above us.
Okay. So
And
it's
same thing on the left.
on their side of the property, actually ground level at the top of those walls.
Yep.
Okay. So you're not building a 12-foot fence in between.
No, it goes on top of both of those stone walls that are holding in the soil for the level of those houses.
Okay.
So is the fence actually on their property or on your property?
Well, you know,
On both.
it's on both. And I actually looked up the law in Colorado on fences.
Mhm.
And when you probably know all this, but I didn't know all this. Colorado law says that, you know, if you have an agreement on the fence and the fence goes in and it's shared between the two properties, you both have responsibility to the fence. So I think that's what it says.
And
But we are going to pay for the fence, which is about $12,000. And both Francesca and Mary and Francesca's mother, Linda, everybody's really happy that we're all going to get some privacy. They have big dogs in Francesca's yard, which are in our yard continuously with clean up after dogs all the time. So
everybody in the adjoining properties is all in agreement about the fences.
yes,
Okay.
I actually have an email that Mary wrote. I had a conversation with Linda. I believe it's pronounced Margucci. Is that correct? And Francesca's mom, who owns the property. And you know, I'm telling you the truth. They're like, we're thrilled. Everybody's thrilled that this fence is going in. So
Yeah.
you won't really see it, or no, you won't even know that it went in, I don't think, from the street, from Rose Street. And then in the back, it goes all the way across the back. And this is going to create a really nice thing for Mary with her dogs. So she's very happy about that. But we have a big, huge mound of lilac bushes right at the end. There's about 4 or 5 feet of lilac bushes. So we're stopping the fence because we do not want to remove the lilac bushes. she and I both would like to keep those.
So from Mary's side, she's got a 6-foot fence with the top. How big is the lattice? The top foot?
Whole thing equals 6 feet and the
I know.
lattice is
How
about-
much is the lattice?
about 1.5 feet.
Okay, so she's got a 4.5-foot solid fence with a 1.5 feet of lattice, and that's what she sees. From your side, that fence sits on a retaining wall.
Yeah, it's high. So now,
high.
so, I mean, it looks a lot higher to us than it does to Mary because
Yes.
it's sitting on top of that already existing high wall. Not right directly on top of it. That's why it has to be over, to get the posts in. It
Right.
can't be like sitting on the stone itself.
If Mary was building this as a privacy fence,
Yes.
now this isn't a question to you, it's a question to the commission. If Mary was building this as a privacy fence, would we have any problem with it?
No.
No. Do you want me to read you her email?
No, I know. This is,
No,
It's just,
no.
just
this
for-
is a technical question.
Yeah, I've had,
This
No,
isn't a you question, Betsy. This
Um,
is,
not a question for me.
Backyard, right?
Pardon?
So,
In the backyard? On the
It's
little
in my
diagram.
backyard, but it's in her side yard because her house faces 3rd Street. The front is
Does
3rd
the
Street.
fence go to the street at all, in either direction?
No,
no,
there's the
Mary's-
lilac bushes on the one.
Mary's house is pretty close to the front of the street, so I'm sure it's not, Betsy, it's just going to the corner of your house, correct?
on Mary's side,
yes.
Yes.
it's going to the lilac bushes, which are about 5 to 6 feet from 3rd Street.
Okay,
So
In other words, lilac bushes are the rest of the fence. So
okay.
don't rip those down.
Okay.
We both love those.
Okay, because from Betsy's side, if the fence has to include the retaining wall, it is too tall. But if it is Mary's fence,
No, it's
and
on Mary's property.
Betsy's fence in the back, I mean, on the other side, I don't think it doesn't come down to Rose Street either. It just does a little hook on the backs on,
Oh, it just backs into the back brick wall of our house. It
yes.
stops.
It
That-
stops, yeah, so it doesn't come down the side. So no, it doesn't come to either street, and it certainly doesn't come to the front of Blakesley's house. And I don't know whether it comes to the front of Mary's house.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
It doesn't come to the front because of the lilac bushes.
For
Yeah,
our
so-
purposes, it's a backyard fence.
Yes. But we wouldn't typically let a 12-foot backyard fence go in, but we would let a 6-foot backyard fence
It's
go.
a 6-foot fence going in.
I think we just have to consider it like it's Mary's fence
Yeah.
rather than,
Right.
since it's on her property and
Mhm.
it's above that retaining wall. So I think that's where you have to approach it and just make sure that the total height isn't about 6 foot on Mary's side.
Betsy, does the property line actually run on top of the wall, or is it?
Yeah.
back?
It does.
So it's kind of,
It's kinda hard to,
kind of splits the wall.
right. That is the property line is the big giant stones. big
Yeah,
giant
then, I mean,
rocks.
technically it's on the person's property.
Technically, it's on what?
It's on the other person's property. If it's going to be in the dirt,
Yes.
And she agrees to it.
She does agree to it.
So her
And we
side of the fence
actually
belongs to
Want
her.
it to be on her property.
She's ecstatic that fence is going. in. So
Okay, I
call her.
don't have any sightings, I don't have any guidelines.
I had put a whole page in. Maybe that was the wrong thing to do. I had copied the page where it
Okay,
says,
so I have book 2, page 52 on the application.
oh, good, okay.
Um,
Okay,
So I'm not sure what the sightings or if that was just the header in general. There must be something more specific on it.
It says, we encourage cedar fences with lattice tops.
Is that just the general heading?
No, somebody's got to pull out their guidelines.
Okay,
It's a specific reference to a sub-guideline.
I had
I just
copied
don't
that.
have mine with me.
Book 2, page 52. It's section 3 under fences, walls, and gates. And it's
Privacy fences.
B, a fence should, a wall should be similar in character to those seen historically.
There's a paragraph about privacy fences.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Where?
Was it okay for me to put that page in my application? Because I had that page in the application that I had copied out of the
Yeah,
book.
but I think Jennifer maybe just didn't copy them all for us because we look them up. But it did
Oh, I
say on the application, it's got the note on the.
Oh, actually, I have the book open in front of me.
Can she give sightings on her own project?
It looks like B3, a solid wood plank fence also may be used in a rear yard if the
Okay.
top of it is
There we go.
transparent
You got
for
it.
character, such as lattice element. The
Okay.
fence may be 4 foot of solid with 2 of lattice
Okay.
or space pickets.
Thank you.
I think that covers it.
Okay.
What number was that, Sean?
B3
B3.
On page 52.
on
Yeah.
page 52.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the application with the citing stated.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there
I'll second it.
any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Against? Oh, okay. Thanks, Betsy.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, now you're back in on the meeting.
Okay, I'm back in. I've unrecused myself, recused,
All right.
back in business. Okay,
All
thank
right.
you so much.
Yes. And now, I'll shuffle here. We have the Strauss Park refresh.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Construction design approval.
I have some questions.
Okay.
Do you have an update on where they are with, we looked at the refresh package and sent some comments back to them, back to DHM, back about a week ago.
Yeah,
ago.
Yeah, it seems like it was a couple weeks back.
You did.
Did we get,
Ken?
Yeah, what Kyle stated, he responded to all this.
frozen?
I shouldn't be. Am
You're on now.
You're
Yeah,
good.
I okay?
yeah, you're on.
The 100% construction documents answered. He said they've responded to all of the comments that were received. And then we talked about the 4 additional ones that you sent Bob at the beginning of this week, which was, I need to bring that up, but but this 100% construction documents does respond to all of the DRC comments. The changes regarding the electrical, regarding the gutter, the boulders removed, the brick to the stone veneer, called out tables and trash receptacles to be provided by the town. And
Reduce the amount of concrete in the shed.
yeah. And then when I get to an email here, You had a comment. Since we deleted the gutters, I believe there's no justification for the electric snow melt system and it should be deleted as well. They did still keep the system on the roof and the guardrail. Only comment was removing the gutters received. Now that you can direct something different regarding that if you want or not.
I mean, it's really up to the town. I don't think it would be a DRC call anyway, whether you'd want to have the heat tape on the roof to melt any ice. We don't have anything like that now.
Right. It would be a cost savings to not
Is
have it.
the
obviously,
table
but-
to be supplied, the handicap table thing that to be supplied by the town? Is that my understanding?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, rather than have it here. And that was the comment from what you guys had in the previous conversation. If
I
you
thought the
wanted,
comment was to give them their table.
Yeah.
what's
the
that? No.
Comment
Well,
was.
I thought the comment was,
We met again in between and it was
I
decided
lost Bob.
the last DRC meeting to go ahead and have the town furnish the trash containers, the benches, basically, and the table for the handicap.
And
that
so
we-
it would match the furniture that match what the town currently has downtown as far as the trash receptacles. Make them exactly the same manufacturer as the other trash receptacles downtown. And as far as
Are
that
you
was,
speaking?
no, I stopped speaking.
And
I stopped in the middle of that sentence because I was like, I don't know. I think I'm putting myself going the wrong direction there, but
we wanted the furnishings to match the library park as closely as possible, correct?
right.
Which we would have control over.
Right.
And did we ever say that we were thinking that the tables and chairs should look similar to those in the library park?
Yes, that's what he just said. We have to supply
When
them.
we pick them out of the package, then it
Right.
comes up to us to decide what furniture to buy.
Okay.
I have a couple of other questions,
Me too.
Okay.
if I may. What are we doing with the orb? What are we doing with the, I understand what we're doing with the cart. What are we doing with the ore bucket?
Yeah.
That's one question. I don't expect an answer. This is just a question. Because we have the ore bucket and we have to be doing something with it. And secondly, I'd like to very much know if we can keep our peak finder in our cottonwood tree. It would keep some of the sense of the old park. And they are located in such a way that we might have to move the table up along
You froze, Cindy. You're
No,
frozen.
you froze, Cindy.
I think the tree and
Okay.
the spotting scope, those were comments that we sent back to DHM.
And I talked with Kyle regarding the spotting scope and it can be definitely saved. It may have to be moved slightly and then field adjusted as far as the location with it. But the exact location, he was going to overlay it. The tree, we'll do everything we can to save it and keep it on there. And I asked him to put it there. He said the compaction of the soil, obviously during the construction, may kill the tree. Just warning regarding that. But we'll do everything we can to save the cottonwood tree there.
So if we don't save it, can we plant another one?
Oh, sure. I don't,
Am I
unless
still
I
frozen?
need to get your approval for
You're not
planting a
frozen.
tree. Do I?
You're okay, Cindy.
No, I think you have to get approval for getting rid of vegetation. I think there is something that in there that asks that people attempt to keep existing vegetation on sites. I think that's in our site part. But my other question about vegetation is, I'm not sure why we would put Kentucky bluegrass anywhere. It's not exactly a native. And there are grasses that are more resilient in our world. I wondered if anybody has really gone through the landscape plan, because, you know, dwarf spruce trees and this is heavily into ornamental planning. And maybe that's not up to us, but
Well, we do require that it be things that are going to survive. You know, we don't want it to look pretty for the first year and then everything die. And I know a lot of ornamental things are not going to do well. I had not looked specifically at what everything was on there.
Yeah, drawing L2, which is the demolition plan, it calls for the bluegrass turf to be removed, saved, and stockpiled good quality topsoil. So it's assuming that what's there now is bluegrass. I don't know. I have no idea. All I know it's green most of the time.
Verify that.
yeah, it's just that Kentucky bluegrass isn't our best grower in this. But I was looking at the things that were called, where was that sheet? Because
L5.0.
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Planting notes.
3 dwarf globe spruces, and those are mini spruce trees that have been shaped, which ends up with a very ornamental look. And we have a very natural look in most places. And that is true about the manzanita too. And it just, those are very formal little gardens. Could we relax a little?
Well,
Yeah.
you know, I see what you're saying. If the rest of the park has the much more natural landscaping, to me, this part with the circle and the fire pit and the little walkway and everything was meant to be like that little formal walking Victorian space. Although I'm not sure what maintenance on that would require, you know, if we don't need to have to hire.
Joan, if anything in this town was designed to be a formal park, it's city park.
Yes, no, I understand that.
I mean, this space just wasn't.
Yeah.
So Cindy, do you object to the dial, the direction dial and the
No, not particularly. That's sort of fun, but to give it, I mean, mini spruce trees are not our game.
Well, I'm seeing quite a few other things. I don't think a dogwood's going to last here.
Oh,
And honestly, I
Yeah,
have a maple in my backyard that's supposed to be a high, you know, a cold weather, high altitude, and it's after
It's a
many years.
disaster.
Yeah, it's been babied a lot, and
How
it's still.
about we come back to the landscaping at some point in time before it's actually done, have somebody like Neil Lunsford's or somebody really look at it rather than have these guys from the city tell us what we ought to be planning up here.
Right.
I agree.
Right. I
think the
would
question
like to suggest that we indicate that the landscape plan will be reviewed when we are actually doing it by Mountain Landscaper. That makes
do we
sense.
want to say the landscape plan, or do we want to say the specific plantings within the plan?
I'd say plantings, yeah.
Plant material, yeah, plantings, plant material.
Fine with the hardscape and where the plantings are going to go and all that. That's
That's fine.
probably the more salient question for us. What actually goes in there, that would be reviewed at the, you know, prior to actual plantings.
That could be reviewed by the town staff. We wouldn't have to go through all that, but I think the plantings is really important.
Yeah, the plantings need a review. And
Yeah.
whoever that gets assigned to. We screwed up at the visitor center in our first round of plantings, and we ended up redoing an entire landscape coming in there. And so I don't want to see us doing that.
Well, the other thing, what looks good on paper as far as spacing and so forth, the way they have it drawn in reality, that may not end up to be the same kind of spacing and so forth. So this whole vegetation plan could change as far as shrubs and so forth.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of stuff in there.
Yes, that's what I
Yeah.
thought also.
Yes, it doesn't, well.
That's a lot of circles.
Yes. My other question was on L 4.2, and I think that
Yeah.
the town is essentially going to be responsible for the restrooms. So in a sense, I don't think the restroom is going to be a DHM problem, is it, Kent? Because
What-
I look at that drain. That drain is draining to the east and then to the south. And where does it go? Goes right into those stones.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a connection to the curb that's right in front of that.
Yeah, there's no connection to anything in that drainage. The other
Okay.
thing is that pan is 2.5 feet wide, and you have about 5 feet before you hit the back of the tin shop.
Uh-huh.
And so when we actually do this, I think we have to look at how that whole thing drains before we put any boulders out there. And we're likely to have the restroom a fair amount of time before we have the parking lot.
Right.
So we also have to, figure if we're draining to the east and then to the south, how we're working that. Because it will end up taking, whether it wants to or not, it will end up taking all the drainage that's coming off of the back of the Anderson hardware.
Right.
So
Ken, is to pull all the drainage out into the parking lot and then out to the street.
I certainly agree with the intent. I just looked at it and said, this doesn't accomplish that. So those were my questions.
So we had talked about putting 2 lights in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And I don't see them represented here
Well,
anywhere.
on page L5,
Um,
L5.0, that's one of the places you can see them.
There's from Fifth Street
Those
in,
4 lights in the parking lot, 2 along Fifth Street, which are the 2 we talked about, and those are the 2 we want. And then they put in a light over by the restroom, which you can't really see with all the shrubs there. And then the other one is right by Rose Street and right at the corner of the front corner of the small shed.
Okay,
those
I
are
was
the-
searching. I don't know what page is this?
L5.
Okay, I'm on L5.
Okay, so look at where it says Fifth Street. Go to your left. There's some dotted lines and then there's the parking
Oh,
spaces.
I see, little teeny tiny. Yep.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Great.
I don't,
Did they respond to did we tell them not to get rid of the two lights on the
yes,
north side of the parking lot?
Yes.
Did he answer that?
Yes, Bob.
So those are gonna go away.
Well, I mean, as far as your comment earlier, if we would want that, yes, he did respond to that. Let me find my little note. Yes, regarding the number of lights, yes, it can. It's not a huge cost to eliminate if need be. But, as far as the light goes, but it can be removed. That was his response.
Right, and I guess if people take a look at ESP 1.0,
ESP,
ESP, like
yeah, like ESP.
near the end.
Extrasensory
It's
perception.
a photometric plan.
Oh, yeah, SG1, right?
Okay, yeah.
Shows the two on Fifth Street, and, you know, that covers that end of the parking lot well. The reason they added the two on the north end of the parking lot is evident from what they've done here. And then we've got the two that are on Rose Street, kind of across from the big shelter. And there's a wall light that was added at the north end that they didn't do a photometric on.
That's because it's the old gas lamp.
No, they actually added, that was one of the comments that we, I think we said was okay, to add a wall sconce there that was the same design as the street lighting, the area lighting. It's got the same head on it, but it just mounts to the wall.
Oh, okay.
They had that in the package. And that basically gives you some light in that dark corner. And those are all things that can be adjusted at time of installation anyway, when we get ready to actually build it.
Kent, does this all land on your desk to project manage?
Well, yes, I will need some assistance regarding project manager, but when we actually get going on it, but got to wait for approval before we go forward with that. So we've already had a complication regarding the installation of the restroom as far as there's a power line. That's a current power line that's directly over where the restroom will be.
Mhm.
That will have to be removed, or we'll have to underground it in order to install the restroom. I mean, temporarily. I mean, either
You also
underground
have
it.
to change the entire gas line.
What's that now?
Say it again, Cindy.
You also have to move the entire gas line back there.
Yeah, yes, as far as that goes. But when the representative of CXT, the restroom manufacturer, came by, the electrical was the main concern.
Is
regarding
that because of the crane putting it in, or does
Yes.
that have to permanently be removed?
No, it doesn't have to be permanently removed. It's because of the crane in order to install the restroom.
It's just in order to install it.
Yes.
Okay.
So it needs to be out of the way for the day or two that the installation of the restroom would occur. But that electrical line provides service for the apartments in the purple and yellow building behind there, and also the businesses and the residents above the businesses in that little nook area for the businesses on 6th. So working through that, trying to contact a representative of Excel so we can start working through those issues as well. So.
Okay.
Is it true, Kent, that basically they may not have to remove it, they just have to de-energize it? So am I correct in saying that? Or is it going to have to be removed?
It's going to have to be out of the way.
Okay.
Because the crane itself will be lifting it right where the power line is at.
Can the crane lift over Kneisel and Anderson and come in the back way?
The power line is like right over where the restroom's at.
Okay, I'll have to look.
Yeah.
I've had to deal with that before. So.
Yeah, have you?
Yeah, because we had a crane putting the furnace on Kneisel and Anderson too. Okay, I think there are a lot of things that we hope that somebody continues to watch. And so I'm hoping that we sort of develop a list that goes along with this package so we don't lose track of some of those things as time goes on, because it may be a while before the next steps are taken.
Right. Absolutely.
Has anybody come up with any sightings for this project yet?
We've done quite a few sightings. I think. Did we?
Did we do sightings back previously? I don't,
You did sightings way back when you gave a temporary or I forgot what you call it, in order to get the construction documents. And now that it's back.
We did a go ahead for construction documents.
Right. And you gave a number of sightings at that time, but that was a while ago.
okay, and then we followed up, we looked at the 100% or the previous submittal of these plans. We had a number of comments that we sent back to them, and they've been, by and large, they've been resolved except for the few that we've talked about today.
I have 4 that I caught from the conversation: the spotting scope, the cottonwood tree, a later review and revision of the plantings in the landscaping plan, and drainage behind the bathroom. Was there anything else?
Do we want to,
The ore
I
bucket.
was wondering about,
Or bucket?
What are we doing with the ore bucket?
Go ahead, Sean.
I was just wondering if they've thought about lessening some of the excavation for the seat walls. Because they from what I saw, it looks like they're going down 42 inches. And I know when we did the library, we did piers and did a grade beam rather than excavating all that earth.
That could be a real mess but along there. If they do that, they go down 42 inches all the way.
Yeah, you can't save the tree.
and that's something that's something we could get.
That just
We get quotes for the
excavation.
excavation and concrete work. We could go ahead and ask for that option to do a different kind of design, like concrete piers and a grade beam.
Are you guys going to be around to help with value
All
engineering?
it is
I hope so.
Me too.
As far as the ore bucket, I would see it as adjacent to the mining cart, just as similarly as it is right now.
I would agree, but I think it needs to be mentioned in the plan.
Okay. Okay.
But I do think that what these guys are talking about is really vital to this site, as far as not overbuilding us.
Correct.
And I agree with Bob that at the point of putting it out for bid, we have to include the idea that we certainly would entertain some options at some value engineering for it.
Yes.
On which page are you talking about that, Sean? I wanted to know.
Oh, I'd have to go back through it. I don't remember right offhand.
Because I thought that was a comment back to him and I was,
It was.
Yeah. We did talk about that.
And they came
Yeah, we
back,
mentioned it.
I think S3 probably, because it shows the cross section of the foundation in the shelter area.
Yeah, L62 shows it. No, that's not right. No.
No, L60.
S3,
S3 is the
section,
the
in section A,
booths.
It's section 3.
S3, page S3,
Yeah, I'm seeing that now.
S3.2,
it's section A and B.
S3.2.
Because those are the, oh, gracious. We're saying we're saying is needed for a stone seat.
S3.0 is where the shelter foundations are shown.
Right, but S3.2
Yeah,
is.
that's the shelter. I'm talking about more like the benches. It's S3.2.
I got them.
Yeah, they got it 42 inches below grade.
They're trying to get down below the frost line, which
What we did is we did piers every so many feet and then did a concrete grade beam on top of the piers.
And they've held very well.
They're still holding. At the library, I haven't seen any movement or anything.
And what year was that, Sean?
2009, I believe. we
So it's
completed.
been 12 years, 10, 12 years already at this point.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
what you're likely to find is that you're likely to find a contractor that'd be happy to build whatever you want him to build, but you won't find an engineer that will sign off on it.
Hmm.
So that would be a risk the town would have to assess.
And the contractor's only gonna quote what is on the plans.
Right, unless we ask for alternatives.
Yeah.
And then the plans will have to be adjusted according to the alternative.
Right. And then the building department gets to decide whether have done it adequately, yes?
Yeah, it still would have to go
Yes.
through plan review of safe built.
Yeah.
Right, but you know, we have these wood posts too that are, we're gonna put sink in something that's 5 feet below grade. That's the wind screen wall foundation. I mean, these foundations are,
But you're gonna get that. I mean, the building codes require you to go below the frost line. So anything you do is gonna have to get down 42 inches, period. And you can do caissons, or you can do, grade beam, or you can do helical piles, or it's all kinds of things you can do, but
It doesn't have to be a continuous wall underneath there.
no.
no, it does not.
Well, considering the area that this is all going on, especially with the compaction, consideration too, I think the less major digging would be better if we could. I guess we'll have to deal with that, huh?
Well, I think, and Mark, I'd like you to chime in on this. I think the least disruptive would be to do like helical piles.
Absolutely, for that wall.
Yep. And
Yeah.
I have no idea what the cost differential would be, but
Well, the price of concrete's gone so far up, it might be within range with the Heelys. So,
you'd have to get a specialty contractor to come in and take a look at that.
but it might be worth it.
Bob, did you say helical piles?
Helical piles, yep.
Okay.
Of course, we could keep it for historic and do no foundations.
There you go.
I don't think you'd be allowed to build it.
We could just do a outhouse too.
Well, the outhouse just sits on, okay, yeah.
I thought we were.
Foundation work for the bathroom.
A latrine.
Yeah, well, the bathroom's going on a slab, but you know, I look at Star Hook and Ladder, which has no foundation. Well, my house has no foundation.
My house is sitting on rocks.
A lot of houses in town have no foundation.
I know. Somehow we're still standing.
Right.
Right.
For these these booths, I would think you could do even a monolithic, which is what's drawn, but not go so deep. A lot of times we don't have to go down that deep.
There's not much weight to it, you know?
No,
Okay, so
Well,
we need,
I think you have to leave it up to the engineers.
yeah. What
we
we're
can
sort
sit
of
here and
saying
second
is
guess
that we need
everything,
some
but the
value in
engineers are-
engineering on this thing.
They're the ones who have the stamp, so.
where do I get a stamp? Okay.
So I have to get off here. So could I ask we have to vote, sorry.
Yeah, so are we gonna vote here? Are you guys ready? Do we need some sightings or anything? We already did some. Cindy, are you frozen?
No, I'm not frozen, but I have no guidelines with me.
Okay, does anybody have anything to add to our previous guidelines we have gone through? I have this list of concerns which we want to note. I named them off for you: the spotting scope, cottonwood, landscaping review on the plantings, drainage behind the bathhouse, the pour bucket, and the concrete. We would prefer some options to do possibly concrete piers and a grade beam, or the helical piles, or maybe even a monolithic slab. So that would be addressed before that's done, correct?
Would those really be DRC concerned? I mean, I think we're kind of getting mixed with, are we meeting tonight to do a COA for this? Or I think that's what was requested, right?
Yeah, and no, I guess really none of that. Well, the ore bucket and some of those things are our concern.
I think it's also fair to say the ore bucket and relooking at the vegetation when the project is the types of vegetation to make sure they adhere to our natural vegetation guideline. And I think a couple of those.
So the ones that pertain to our normal purview.
Yes.
Okay, so the drainage and the concrete we're not going to add as anything.
The drainage does.
Drainage, okay. So just the concrete, we're gonna let the powers that be handle. Well, do I have a motion?
Did you want me to share the screen of the guidelines themselves, since a couple people are saying they don't have the guidelines?
Well, I can grab my book here. Does somebody feel
And
like,
if you don't want to.
does anybody feel like we need more guidelines? I thought we kind of went through it pretty well the time we did sightings, but.
Yeah, I thought we did too, because we had trouble finding, there's really not a lot of things in our guides that apply.
Okay. So we will refer to our previous sightings.
That's a good idea.
And the list of concerns of things that we do want to still address, which were pretty simple, really. So do I hear a motion?
I would add that the DRC wants to be involved throughout the process, all the way through construction. Is that a fair? Do we want that? I think we want to be kept what's going on and any modifications to the plans.
Yeah, be kept updated. But is there anything that stops us from observation of what's going on?
No.
Okay. So how would we receive updates?
I think that any modification of the plan that affected any of its exterior appearance, whether it is in the plantings, in the placement of things, in the removal of things, because there are likely to be plan modifications as this goes through the bid process.
So we're just requesting that we
that we see any plan modifications that affect that exterior will require an amendment by the DRC.
Okay,
That's a good phrase there.
Yeah.
Any modification requires an amendment at the DRC.
And I wish I had my guidelines, because yes, I think there are a couple of specifics, one on vegetation and another one on drainage that are pertinent, but
You want me to look real quick?
let's not spend forever at that. Gotta
Okay.
go.
Okay. All right. So I've got our concerns listed here, and we're going to refer back to our previous sightings on this approval. Anybody else? And I will ask that any modifications in the future will require an amendment from DRC.
I saw a comment a minute ago about the partitions and the way that the partitions are not included in the plan right now. I think there's a note or something that says that they'll be done by the town later. But the way that the booth is designed now, we can put partitions going from front to back as well as from side to side. And they can be put in, the structure is built into the framing to allow for that. And the intent would be that they would be wooden partitions of some sort.
They will, yes, absolutely.
And
They
the
are,
town is doing that separately, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be a separate project. You really can't do anything with it until you have the shelters built.
And there's even a likelihood that this is gonna be done in stages anyway.
Oh, yeah, I would think. Okay, I've got all
well,
of
the two stages that'll probably be done, if it's all agreed upon to move ahead, is the booths area and then the parking lot area would be the two different stages. Now there might be, I don't see another easy break to break it up into 3 stages. So.
All right. Anybody going to give me a motion?
Not me.
is there like some danger to giving a motion or something?
No. Is everybody hesitant? I can't do it. Come on.
Okay.
Is nobody ready?
I would move that we approve the Strauss Park plan based on our prior sightings and with the stipulations as noted during this meeting.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, thank you. Wraps up a long trail there. And then we do have some minutes. Before we,
Quickly, on
Yes.
the subject of the library, Dick Woods, who is the chair of the Library District Board, contacted me and said that the library would like to go ahead with their construction drawings. I said to him, my understanding was that they had come before the DRC for a preliminary discussion, and that there were some items that were brought up during that discussion that probably should be further discussed.
yes.
And so I would like to recommend that we invite the library to come back with their plans at our next meeting, at the August 12th meeting, and that we take a careful look at all of the details. I mean, they could ask for a certificate of appropriateness at that time, because they don't really have to have construction plans in order to ask. I mean, I
Right.
said that to him. You don't really need to have construction plans to ask for a certificate. You don't have a certificate. It's probably time to come back and they want to move forward, to come back and have that discussion. So if it's all right with everyone, can we put the library on the agenda? And does everybody have their former set of plans that were,
Yeah.
or should Jen send them out again?
Have they changed them? Did we
No,
ask-
but if you don't have them, you should get them again.
I don't think I
I would ask for new plans from the library if from what they had
They
before.
don't,
Done
they
anything-
haven't changed them, Bob.
Oh, they haven't?
No,
I
and,
could not swear that I have mine now, to tell you the truth.
I'd have
and
to-
so, I
Just have Jen send them out by email.
yeah. Jen, can you
Sure.
send everybody the former plans that we were sent?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, thank you. And put on the agenda for next time, the discussion of John Tomei. I would say that when you look up the library, you find it is not a contributing structure to the landmark district, but it is an eligible National Register site on its own. So it is what is called an NRE in your list, as in National Register eligible, because our period of contributing ends in 1907, and the library was built in the 1920s. I think one of the things to consider is how the additions are supposed to be secondary, and how the original structure is being celebrated or whatever, or brought out in the plans that you're currently looking at. Additionally, we mentioned that there were some materials questions particularly on the patio. There may be vegetation questions also.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. Anything else on the library? Okay, on our letter to Charge Point for their 106, Section 106 compliance with us, they did request, and I'll tell you on number 4 on our letter, with the stipulations that we asked them to agree to, it says all utilities, transformers, switchgear, and power blocks will be dark brown or dark gray. And they've come back to us because the transformer actually belongs to Excel. They have no authority to say what color it'll be. They can't promise us that. So we basically have to hash that out with Excel. So they've asked that we would change this letter to not include the transformer on this stipulation. Is that agreeable to everybody?
Yes.
Yes, yes, it is agreeable. Excel will do it if they know
Yeah.
it's stipulated.
Right. So it's up to us to tell Excel, but to put it on their letter, that's making them have to be, responsible for Excel. Okay.
Well, there's no reason they can't be.
All right. So we'll go ahead and amend that letter, and that's all I got except for minutes tonight.
I did look at the minutes real quickly online, and then I'm going to get off here.
Okay.
Is that at some point we passed something, it's at the very end of the minutes, and it says it gives all the sightings and says we passed it with stipulations, but it doesn't list the stipulations.
Hmm.
I
Let's
can
see.
change that word to sightings.
Because sightings and stipulations are two different things.
So I'll just change the word.
Yeah.
We passed it with the following sightings. Were there any stipulations?
I don't think so.
Well, it says stipulations noted, and nothing pops to my mind at the moment. Did we change the color officially on that one or something?
Well, what is that
The
one?
right color. The submittal have the right colors.
Okay, so that's the Strauss Park restrooms. Was that your question, Cindy?
Yeah, I don't know. They're not in front of
Yeah.
me.
Right, okay.
Because if there was a stipulation, we should say what the stipulation is. It's got all the sightings, but if there was stipulation was that it be changed to the other colors, then it should say that.
I think we had already cleared that part up. So can we just review minutes, Susan, and see if there were stipulations or not. Or we can actually just look at the application that I turned in.
Yep.
Okay, we'll check on that tomorrow then.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye, thanks, Cindy.
I think, Cindy.
Okay, so you got the change there, Susan? Yeah, okay.
I
All
do.
right. Anybody else got anything?
Nope.
Under Alicia,
Yeah,
the second line, 4 aluminum clad vinyl windows.
Uh-huh.
They were just 4 vinyl windows,
Not aluminum clad.
not aluminum clad.
Okay.
all right. Good one.
That's all I had.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes with those changes.
Do I hear a second?
I'll
One
second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Aye.
So,
Okay. See everybody signing off. Night.
Night, everybody.